Good morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, May the 28th. We are here to look at the new releases that are published this week. And on Wednesdays, we look at romance. Quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. Our next sprints are tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Let us jump into love. First up, Much Ado About Hating You by Sarah Echevarri Smith. All's fair in love and war and fandom. Financial auditor Micah Mila is used to being the bearer of bad news, and her latest assignment in the local university's English department has been especially taxing, no thanks to a literature professor who clashes with her at every turn. Thankfully, she has an after-hours escape, reading spicy Shakespearean fanfic. Professor Aidan Scott is damn good at his job, but Micah has been a thorn in his side since the moment he laid eyes on her. Eyes that really like what they see. Yet, with his job on the line, excuse me, there's no room for distractions, at least not beyond the sexy fanfic he secretly writes. When Micah discovers the man getting under her skin is the writer heating her up, their enemy vibe turns steamy. But with Micah's audit due and Aiden's career at risk, separating fantasy from reality becomes more than a little complicated. It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. Love is a lie, laughter is the only truth. Jane Jackson spent her adolescence as poor Janie Jakes, the barbecue sauce in her braces punchline on America's fifth favorite sitcom. Now she's trying to be taken seriously as a Hollywood studio executive by embracing a new mantra, fake it till you make it. Except she might have faked it too far, desperate to get her first project greenlit and riled up by, excuse me, pompous cinematographer and one-time crush Dan Finnegan, she claimed that she could get mega pop star Jack Quinlan to write a song for the movie. Jack may have been her first kiss and greatest source of shame, but she hasn't spoken to him in 20 years. Now Jane must turn to the last man she'd ever want to owe, Dan Finnegan, because Jack is playing a festival in Dan's hometown and Dan has an inn. A week in close quarters with Dan as she faces down her past is Jane's idea of hell, but he just might surprise her. While covering up her lie, can they find something true? Along Came a More by Alexis Daria, third in the Primas of Power series. After Ava Rodriguez, now ex-husband, declares he wants to follow his dreams, which no longer include her, she's left questioning everything she thought she wanted. So when a handsome hotelier flirts with her, Ava vows to stop overthinking and embrace the opportunity for an epic one-night stand. Roman Vasquez's sole focus is the empire he built from the ground up. He lives and dies by his schedule, but the gorgeous stranger grimacing into her cocktail inspires him to change his plans for the evening. At first, it's easy for Roman to agree to Ava's rules, no strings, no feelings, but one night isn't enough, and the more they meet, the more he wants. Roman is the perfect fling until Ava sees him at her cousin's engagement party as the groom's best man, no less. Maintaining her boundaries becomes a lot more complicated as she tries to hide her relationship from her family, but Roman isn't content being her dirty little secret. With her future uncertain and her family pressuring her from all sides, Ava will have to decide if love is worth the risk again. Four Weddings and a Feud, second in the Forza family series. Good morning, Mary. How you doing? Happy Wednesday. Woke up oh no, a dead car battery. My own fault. Left the trunk door up. I've done this before and it's maddening. Feels sometimes like I'm losing it. Ugh. That happens to anybody. Happens to me a lot more frequently. Mary's got big dreams, starting her own event planning business, proving her brothers wrong, and escaping the rut of the family business. But when Alex Villa, the man who humiliated her on prom night, resurfaces in her life. Those dreams might just be about to go up in smoke. When Mary lands the high-profile wedding of the year in Las Vegas, it could be the career-making opportunity she needs. But there's one catch. The bride demands Alex's exclusive luxury hotel as the venue. Saying no would cost Mary a fortune and possibly her reputation. Ignoring the unresolved tension between her and Alex, not so easy. Gone is the cocky teenager who broke her heart. Now Alex is a powerful, enigmatic drinking game. Vegas mogul whose presence still sends shivers down Mary's spine. The heat between them is undeniable, but so is the painful history that lies between them. One her brothers would love to settle with a punch. Working together is a gamble, but what if the stakes are higher than they ever imagined? When old feelings resurface, will Mary take a chance on love again, or is the man who shattered her heart still the biggest risk of all? End of row one. Second chance for Karis. Third in the Welsh Rebels series. Karis has left her native Wales to follow her newly married daughter to England. More than a decade after losing her husband, she's convinced her life as a woman is over. As one tragedy struck after the other, James Mortimer has lost faith in life. Now a widower, he has resolved to focus on his role as steward of Sheridan Manor. When the man he raised as his son comes back to live in England, this sensible decision is put to the test because in his new entourage is a woman like no other. The attraction between them cannot be denied, and soon hope starts to bloom. Could it be that, against all odds, James and Karis have been allowed a second chance at happiness? To be together, they will have to overcome the obstacles fate throws in their way, some as formidable as King Edward of England himself. Oh, Mary, we got one. He lost his shirt and she can't walk. Must be love. A Touch of Steel by Kathy Maxwell, third in the Gambler's Daughters series. From the moment the enigmatic drinking game. You see now why we have this drinking game? Mr. Steele almost kissed her on a Dublin street. Her world was forever altered. He commands the respect of rogues and nobles alike, and Gwendolen owes him a favor. She believes he owes her a kiss. Beckett is a lone wolf. However, he needs Gwendolen to discover the secrets of his past. He has no choice but to seek her help, even though she threatens the walls he has carefully erected around his heart. He doesn't need a woman in his life. She knows he can't live without her. Together they must navigate a world of deception where love defies the odds and secrets threaten to unravel everything they hold dear. Will they find a future together, or will the past tear them apart? Let us linger for a lovely cover. Okay, moving on. Beach House Rules by Christy Woodson Harvey. Mary says, at last! Absolutely. More of those type, please. When Charlotte Sitterly's husband is arrested for a white-collar crime, she and her daughter, Iris, are locked out of their house by the FBI and, what's potentially even worse, thrust into the spotlight of Juniper Shore's socialite, the town's snarky anonymous Instagram account. Cut off from her bank accounts and feeling desperate, Charlotte takes up an acquaintance's offer to stay at a beachfront former bed and breakfast that's home to a community of single mothers and draws plenty of gossip in the small coastal North Carolina town. Charlotte and Iris find solace and are surprised by how much fun they're having with the other families despite their circumstances. But when the women discover a secret link between them, it changes everything they thought they knew about the unconventional family they've created and leaves them wondering whether their coming together was a coincidence at all. Will the skeletons in the Mommune closets help? In the Mommune? Help? I don't know what that is. Are they doing a play on commune, or is that a type of closet? I don't know. Help Charlotte and Iris reclaim their place in the Juniper Shores community, or shatter the sisterhood forever. And this would be considered women's fiction, not necessarily romance. We like to mix it up. Oh, and now we got a cowboy who's showing off his arms, and we're okay with this. They just move the title, we'd get a better look. And he's got a big belt buckle. We are gifted today. Change of Heart by Bailey Hanna, third in the Wells Ranch series. She spent years trying to forget. He'll do anything to make her remember. Wells Canyon is the last place Blair Hart wants to be, yet when her mother falls ill, she has no choice except to return to the hometown she avoided for over a decade. In a town this small, she knows there's no way she can avoid the cowboy who tore her life to pieces all those years ago. But that doesn't mean she's prepared for the way Denver Wells can turn back time with a single smile. Since Denver's world came crashing down 13 years ago, he's somehow managed to keep his demons at bay. That is, until Blair Hart's return knocks him from his saddle. But if he wants her back, he'll have to prove he can be the man she needs, the same one she used to love. Throwing herself into the role of caregiver, Blair doesn't have the time to sift through their messy history, even if she wanted to. And Denver's going to need a lot more than his usual cowboy charm to convince Blair he's worth a change of heart. End of row 2. Oh, we've got another one coming up, Mary. Not this one. We've got 2 to get to. Come As You Are by Dahlia Adler. Hot on the heels of a broken heart, Evie Riley arrives at Camden Academy ready for a new beginning, one far away from her cheating ex-boyfriend, the sister who stole him, and the best friend who let it happen. But her fresh start is stopped in its tracks when she's accidentally placed in an all-boys dorm with no choice but to stay. Darn. When rumors and gossip about Evie, which is actually probably really gross, about Evie's housing predicament spread like wildfire, she decides the only way to survive is to lean into her questionable new reputation, but she's definitely going to require help. Her grumpy emo dorm mate, Salem Grayson, isn't exactly her first choice, but he does need her help to repair his relationship with his parents every bit as much as she needs his to learn how to be cool. And so they make a pact. He'll teach her how to be bad if she teaches him how to be good. It's a flawless plan, except while Salem thrives academically, romantically, and annoyingly enough, even physically, Evie's quest feels like one dead end after another. But when Evie realizes that she wants more than anything, she'll have to contend with her thrice broken heart and figure out how to become someone capable of chasing happiness. And this one wins title of the day, Manic Pixie Dream Earl by Jenny Holiday. Earl's Trip, book number 2. This is a historical romance. When not writing, poet Edward Astley, Viscount Featherfinch, spends his time fending off the young ladies of the ton and some of its young men, avoiding his cruel father. As heir to the earldom, Edward knows he must marry someday. Alas, he is already hopelessly in love with someone. Hopeless because not only is Miss Juliana Evans not a member of the aristocracy, she is employed. She is a magazine editor, the only one to publish his work. Also, in their years of increasingly personal correspondence, they've never met. Also, she thinks he's a woman named Euphemia. Juliana is baffled. How can her soulmate not want to meet? Could it be that Euphemia is not the simple country girl she claims to be? Perhaps she's wealthy. After all, she's never cashed any of the bank drafts Juliana has sent. Perhaps Euphemia simply doesn't want rank to come between them. Well, no more. Having extracted the details of a trip Euphemia is planning, Juliana squanders her meager savings and surprises her at the scene. He is very, very surprised, as is she. Now the two will have to decide what is true, what is not, and whether the truest thing of all, love, just might be worth an earldom. All right, here's our dress of the day. Although he's fully clothed. But she's got a gorgeous dress. Yes, to the cowboy cover too. Striking gold today. Denver, but of course, I know. What if he wanted to be a dentist? I mean, it could happen. Duchesses Don't Cry, 8th in the Victorian Outcast series by Barbara Russell. Anthony Beaufort, Duke of Gloucester, is in need of a wife, and his grandmother is in charge of choosing the perfect lady for him. But when he meets Helen, he finds her lack of personal opinions and her affected manners too daunting for his taste. Instead, Isabella, Helen's sister, impresses him with her laughter and spontaneity. Clever, spirited, and beautiful, Isabella will make a great duchess, someone he could rely on and trust to share his work with. His grandmother disagrees. Isabella is a romping young woman with delusions of adequacy. Not to mention, she supports women's suffrage. Isabella enjoys Anthony's company, but marriage isn't her priority, and Helen's biggest wish has always been to marry a duke. How could Isabella hurt her own sister, but how could she refuse a duke? You get to wear really pretty dresses. Storybook ending by Maura MacDonald. April, a smart and lonely tech worker, worries work from home has gotten out of hand. She's left an anonymous note in a book for Wesley, the clerk at her Seattle neighborhood bookstore, who has a gentle smile and looks great in flannel. But thanks to fate, Laura, a busy single mom who has given up on love, buys the book, finds the note, and thinks Wesley has left it for her. A handsome man who loves books seems like just the plot twist she's been looking for. Meanwhile, Wesley, not the most perceptive, is too distracted by the movie filming at the store and the ambition it's unlocked in him to notice either of the two women. But as April and Laura's anonymous correspondence continues back and forth, their mundane routines are challenged, sparking a glimmer of hope. Is a happy ending in the cards for them? End of row 3. I was going to say something, but I'm not. Laurie Foster has a new one. The Guest Cottage, first in Firefly Summer Series. Marlo Headings is starting over. She's carried the outrage of her husband Dylan's affair with a younger woman and the expectations of his family's powerful Chicago holdings company long enough. Now, after another devastating twist of fate, she's unapologetically moving on. Arriving in tiny Bramble, Kentucky, Marlo revels in her freedom, swapping her executive suits for sundresses and scouting places to open her dream boutique. Best of all is her new residence, an adorable cottage with gorgeous lake views and a breathtaking landlord, former Marine Court Easton. Soon they're sharing dockside morning coffee and nighttime firefly gazing. Marlo's new life feels like a dream. Then Pixie Nolan arrives on her doorstep with a shocking secret. To Marlo's astonishment, Dylan's other woman is a desperate girl of 19, destitute, exhausted, and disowned by her family. Defying her manipulative in-laws' demands and surprising even herself, Marlo vows to lay down roots in Bramble and help Pixie get on her feet. Then they'll part ways, but empathy has a way of forging bonds. As Marlo grows close to the hardworking, devoted young woman, she becomes something of a big sister to Pixie. Now, with each sunrise, Marlo awakens to the life she was truly meant to live, one filled with deepening connections, supportive friendship, and even a second chance at love. For some reason, I like this cover too. Maybe it's her hair. She's got gorgeous hair. The Lady Makes Her Mark, third in The Goods Guide to Misconduct by Susanna Craig. Known only as Miss C, Constantia Cooper creates satirical cartoons for Mrs. Goods, but her anonymity hides a more shocking secret, one that requires she remain elusive. When a scandal at the magazine threatens to expose her, Constantia packs up and flees, but in her haste, she is struck by a carriage and suffers a blow to the head. Fortunately, she's rescued by a gentleman. Unfortunately, he is all too familiar. Feigning amnesia seems Constantia's best strategy. Of course it is. Alistair Haythorne, Earl of Ryland, would never turn away a lady in distress, even if he's often the target of said lady's biting satire. In fact, while Miss C recuperates, he will have her teach his sisters to draw. Perhaps it will inspire a more flattering portrait of him. But secrets make interesting bedfellows, and as Constantia and Alistair grow closer, their opinions of one another change. drastically. With love in the air, two things stand between them: Alistair's need to marry an heiress to keep his family's estate intact, and a series of threats that endanger Constantia's life. Can what keep them apart ultimately bring them together? I don't like it so much anymore. It's a silly place. This Love by Darcy Burke. Ribbon Ridge, book number 10. After a hot hookup on New Year's Eve, Crystal Donovan plans to avoid Jamie Westcott, which could be difficult given the size of Ribbon Ridge. But she's only there a few days doing research on the town's history when it's back to her glam life in LA. When his family holds the key to unraveling a century-old mystery, she has to seek him out, and the sparks are still flying. Jamie Westcott works his ass off to repay his college loans, which doesn't leave much time for other commitments. Crystal's a perfect fling. She's fun and sexy, and best of all, they have little in common and she lives somewhere else. Only the more time they spend together, the closer they get, despite their intent to keep things casual. When everyone learns Crystal sold a screenplay exposing the dark secrets of Ribbon Ridge and Jamie's family, she becomes the town pariah. Jamie won't leave and Crystal can't stay. Can love show them another way? Sorry, honey, I don't think she's the one for you. She does stuff like that. We are out of time, so we're just going to do drive-bys here. You, Me, and Forever by Laura Pavlov. Part of a new series, it looks like. It's a spicy enemies to lovers romance about a billionaire developer and a small-town entrepreneur. See, I said it. Here's the cover. Skin Deep by Catherine Barbera. This is another billionaire bodyguard romance, part of the first of the Marlowe agency. She controls every fight, every move, every emotion until him. And last one, Built to Last by Lexi Blake, third in the Park Avenue Promise. 3 young women make a pact in high school to always be friends and to one day make it big in Manhattan. All right. That is the romance being other than Harlequin, which we don't cover because there's way too many of them. Mary says, it's raining in Virginia. Oh, very cool. Sweater weather. Nice. Not complaining in the least. Great day to read. Absolutely. Or bead. Absolutely. Take naps. Yes. Hope you have a great day, and thanks so much as always. Absolutely. You have a very good day, Mary. Thank you so much. You are such a good friend. All right. Again, I don't have any sprints tonight. I have my psychism class tonight. So our next sprints are tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow's morning show is fantasy and science fiction. Hope you have a very good day. Be safe, Mary. Enjoy your day. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.